Okay, so today I want to talk to you a little bit about these arrows I have. I'm gonna put a link in the description. I've already done that on several videos with these, but um, there's a difference in how you get your arrows and your bows to marry up, so that way you can have the optimum shooting experience and accurate shooting experience. You want to have fun shooting archery as well as you do being serious about competition or hunting. So you can use a 45 pound and up for hunting easily. You can still use a 40 pound and below for certain hunting practices, small game, etc. But you have to know the what your arrow, bow and arrow are capable of doing when they're married up together. So here's the thing. On these arrows, these are worn out. I can't even read it anymore. These are carbon arrows and they look wooden grain, but they're not. So always remember to flex your arrows, carbon arrows, check them out. You do this with the wooden ones too, and aluminum if you can. Um, I don't really shoot aluminum. I haven't had an aluminum arrow in years. They just really phased out with carbon fiber, carbon arrows that you get. Fiberglass arrows, same thing. I haven't. Those are for weaker spine, or rather weaker bows. Really, in all honesty, safer to shoot that way, in my opinion. Yes, you can get them for bigger bows, compound bows, 74 plus pound bows that you can use and actually do well with them. Okay, on this arrow, it will tell you flex it first for safety. This is what you do. Some of these do start to crack and break, and you need to make sure that you're aware of what's going on so you don't use this arrow and end up impaled in your hand. I actually showed a picture of that to a friend of mine who I'd gotten off the internet from, and she was like, "Wow." I was like, "Yeah, that can happen." So this is why you wear a hand guard at least, and when you're shooting, especially if you're going out and shooting a lot of arrows, competition, so on, you're shooting the same arrows often. You really don't, in certain regulations, you don't get to change arrows too much. You have to know what arrow is good for your bow at the range that you're shooting, so that way you can make small groups and practice. You can see my community post on the most recent one I did, and I'm, you know, the group I can wrap my fingers around and make that symbol on it, if you will. That is not a white supremacy thingy at all. It just means it. I grew up in the 70s. That means, hey, everything's okay. Okay, so 70s and 80s. But we were all outdoor kids too. We didn't have this technology and so on. Even if we did, we'd still be outdoor kids because it was more fun to play outside than it was to be a vegetable inside. So, but anyway, when you check your arrow, you can see that these knocks, fletchings are getting a little bit worn. That's fine. That's not going to be terrible. You got to check your knocks, make sure you're not broken or starting to crack or anything. They're not loose. Don't shoot anything that's loose. It'll vibrate and give a funny um, grouping, or it'll act weird as it goes down range because of the vibrations, and also reflect on your bow and your string. You don't want to have any shock in your hand. These bands right here, when you shoot these arrows, they would impact and they would slide down. So what I did was I had to reglue out all of them on there. Just every single one of them did it, and now they're starting to uh, fly, or roll up, if you will. So I'm gonna take a razor here later and shave that down. Look at the other ones as well, and shave those down if I need to. I know that one of them is completely rolled out to where it's a smooth, it almost looks like it's intentional. So I'll look at that and see if I need to assess anything on that. But the fletchings are fine. They're feathers. They don't, yeah, there's no, they're not coming up or anything. I had that one happen on one of them, and I glued it back down and put the band back over it because the band had come off, and it had gouged my thumb with the fletching front there. So I had to get that taken care of, and I did, and everything was good to go. So that being said, always check your arrows, know your arrow spine to your bow weight. I normally have 350 going on anyway. These are 500, I know. Um, but 350 spine is good. These are my indoor practice, really short range practice. And when I'm shooting this bow, I can put they grew great, but I can put the longer range. I can put the 350 spine arrows on there that I get from Walmart, and the broadheads that I have, the colorful eagles, they're really really good. They flew flawlessly and penetrated that the calibrated ballistic gel skull that or skull, yeah, head that I purchased off of Amazon, and it worked really well. So I look forward to getting out there on the long range now. The park is cleared out and everything is cleaned up after the fair, so that way I don't have any issues. And I'll go from there, and I'll get you guys a good video on that one because that'll show you the flight characteristics of certain arrows that I have. And I want to check that because I want to see what I'm dealing with. You know, it's not like we're going to stand in line and knock loose and shoot a bunch of horde of zombies coming at you or anything anytime soon. Although, you know, anything's possible at this point with the way the world is working, being all crazy. But um, you just got to really, really know what you're capable of with your bow setup. So we'll be doing some Patreon on setting up bows and understanding where to knock and how to get your bow tuned up to you. So stay tuned for that. Like, share, and subscribe here. Go to my Patreon, check that out if you want to. There are some free public posts as well. That'll get you an idea of what we're doing there. So